Hey there, everybody in the FFBE Global Facebook group, and hello to everybody who happens to pick this video up on YouTube as well. Special greetings to you from three of your global Facebook group admins. And we're here today to talk about, some of the stuff that's been going on over the past, 30 something hours, as far as players not being able to log in, specifically Facebook players, who I assume most of the members of the Facebook group are Facebook players, but maybe not all of them. But we just wanted to try and take a couple minutes as some of your admins to talk about that, and how that's affected you all and how that's affected us, and just kind of reach out to you guys, who's the community that we're caring for. And so I'm gonna let the other two say hello for themselves. MK, you want to go first?
Yeah, guys, it's MK Ultra, admin for FFBE Facebook Global. You've probably seen my memes. I'm trying to keep my own spirits up because I also can't get into the game. So just know that you are not alone, and don't think that your data is going to get erased. I promise we've been down this road before, and it will get resolved eventually. It's just a waiting game, and Gummy will compensate us on the daily login rewards. I'm sure of it because it's happened before. So that's all I'm going to say for now. Darren?
Thank you.
Yes. So pretty much everything that she just said, but in my voice.
That is efficient to a point, and so thank you for that, and a very special welcome and hello to anybody who has joined the group in the past 2 days, maybe looking for more information or just trying to find a safe place to vent your frustration about what's going on. We try to be a family-friendly, fun, safe group for players. So, if you've joined looking for that, here we are, and welcome to you. And hello again to everybody who, knows my face and some of our names a little bit already. And especially also want to just throw out there, since this is hosted on YouTube, to my group and people who are part of my community, hello to you too. Of course, obviously, here we are. You're seeing me in Facebook group action. So here we go. So y'all's understanding, I don't even remember what time this whole thing started. When did Facebook actually kind of lose their ability to log in? Do either of you know? I didn't. I was working, so I didn't really see it happen.
I have an idea. So I wake up early in the morning. I do the dailies before I go to work. So I was able to log in yesterday at 6 a.m. To do the dailies, and by, I want to say, 9 a.m., maybe 10 a.m. Pacific time, I started seeing reports coming into the global group. So I beat it by a few hours. But anyone who didn't get the daily login between midnight and 6 a.m., I'm worried that they may have missed out on a daily login. And now at this point, we're 2 days in. So those are the people I want to try to say, I'm sure Gumi's gonna fix this and you will get your daily logins. And I'm not exactly sure what the exact time frame was, but I'm thinking around 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time.
I actually think it might have even been a little earlier than that. I remember seeing in Sinzar's Discord, a couple people were talking right around 11 a.m. Eastern, which would have actually been about 8 a.m. Pacific. So I think it was a pretty substantial amount of time during the day yesterday that it was inaccessible. I was working the whole time, so I didn't really see or feel any of it.
Yeah.
I was just told there was a Facebook login issue. I didn't even think about it. I tried to log in when I got home to burn some arena orbs, and the problem was still there. So I don't really know the timing of it all. It was definitely unfortunate. There were a lot of people who were really upset because they were either planning on doing some Clash of Wills yesterday. We're trying to keep up their raid score. We're just trying to finish the events that were supposed to have closed. Now, of course, we know that they were extended.
Yeah.
There's just a lot of content that was missed because of this and what has now effectively been exactly so about 36 hours of downtime for anyone whose account was bound to Facebook.
Yeah. And also just want to throw out there too that the three of us have no formal connection to Gumi, no formal connection to Facebook, so we can't really comment on any kind of official position. This is more just like us talking about like how it's affected us and how we've seen it affecting a lot of you guys. Like, didn't you say, MK, today alone you've like kind of had to manage like over 100 different posts about this issue?
I'd say way more than 100. But,
Okay.
we did get about 100 new people into the global group, which is exciting. And I want you to feel validated that this is a place you could come and check for updates and vent your frustrations in a family-friendly way. But yeah, there's like it's been nonstop since yesterday, and I mean, we do have a team, so if you post something and you're not seeing your post in the group, just be a little patient. Like, as soon as one of us has a chance, we'll either try to redirect you or tag you in the post that's relevant to your inquiry. And yeah, sorry, it's a lot.
It's a lot. Yeah, it's a lot. And we're also trying to kind of keep the clutter down so that when we get a piece of official information, we can throw that out there and share with you guys, and it doesn't get lost in a flood of, the same I can't log in screenshot over and over again. So don't think that we're not like paying attention to, or that we're ignoring you or anything like that. We're just trying to make sure that, because there are so many of us that are impacted by this, who are some of us trying to be a little more patient than others, that we just want to make sure we get the information to you guys as quickly as possible.
Yes.
Awesome. So MK, you talked a little bit about what I wanted to talk about next, and that is that there has been some history with events or issues similar to this that have ended up turning out okay.
Yeah.
What were one of those?
One of them was an Apple update. So for those of us that have iOS or iPhone, unfortunately, we had like a 2 to 3 day blackout for one of the updates. I want to say this was 2017. It could have been 2018 though. So that was the first time I lost my daily login streak, and it was frustrating at the time. But I've seen people say that they emailed support, and support was able to reinstate those days that were lost. That did not happen for myself. So I still have like a total, number of login days, but it doesn't match the consecutive login days, if that makes sense. In the log. So anyway, but that's what I think that was from, was the Apple fiasco. But yeah, it's been 4 or 5 years since that, and I know that there have been issues with Google also, like I want to say 1 to 2 years ago, like pretty recently actually, where people had issues connecting with their Google accounts, and that was like a 24-hour thing. So it's not something to totally freak out about. I can assure you, your logins, your accounts are still stored on the Gumi servers. You just have to kind of wait it out until they fix the issues, the communication issues with Facebook or Google or Apple, which is time consuming, unfortunately. And we are supposed to be compensated, although I think like we should all get 50,000 lapis.
50,000.
That's just me,
I mean, why not just give us all free EX3 Titus with like 3 copies of his STMR?
That seems fair.
I think that might be a little unrealistic, but I mean, Darren, I think you probably have a better memory of like what some of the compensations we've seen are over the years.
Yeah.
I mean, can you tell us a little bit about some of what we might realistically be able to consider?
So the way I see it, because we effectively have almost every single refill event active
Mhm.
right now. I remember, I maybe don't quote me on this exactly. I vaguely remember when the Apple outage happened, that there was, for Apple users specifically, and I remember this because it was a great time to, if you had an Apple device, actually make a second account because they gave you so much stuff.
Mhm.
I want to say they gave you somewhere in the ballpark of like 5 to 10,000 lapis, a bunch of EX tickets, a bunch of energy fills, but that made it great for re-rolling new accounts at the time because then you go do a couple pulls and you see where you were at. But because of where we are in the game now, I feel it's probably going to be less heavy on lapis and more heavy on refill items. So I would expect, probably 50 energy refill times 10s, 50 item world restore times 10s or 5s or whatever they are. I can't even remember anymore. They'll probably give us somewhere in the ballpark of, like, I would say at most 5,000 lapis, and that might be a stretch. I actually can see it being closer to 500. As just in order to keep up with your refills, some raid restore items, but I don't really see there being a ton of gratuitous compensation, unfortunately, depending on how long this outage continues, strictly because there are a lot of people who have access to the game right now, and it's easier to give compensation when there's easily filterable groups of people, when they can make sure that only those people get it, as opposed to what will probably happen in this instance where the entire player base will benefit from this outage. It just so happens that those of us bound to Facebook are potentially going to miss a day of a free 10 pull, the login rewards, which we'll get, but it's still different because we will just innately be net 1 day of bonus less than the people who can get in.
I would venture something along the lines of that, with also just kind of recognition of all the stuff that you should get in a daily basis right now, like with the lapis that you would get from clearing creeping malice, esper ores, and super sites and things like that, from like the daily stuff. I mean, the one thing that they can't really replace right now, without knowing what units you were planning on running, would be the fragment dungeon. And then with the absence of any kind of like omni fragment or something like that, we don't really have the way to give that, unless they just like copied what you got the day before. But like how would they know? And that's going to depend. I think that's kind of unrealistic. But I think whatever you would typically get in a daily basis from playing, plus the energy and the refills to like basically account for a missing day worth of stuff.
And I mean, I suppose if they really wanted, they could give everyone one of those exchange tickets for like a unit of choice shard, which I think is like 10 each or 5 for premium.
Yeah.
The problem is if they just give us a ticket for one of the existing, I guess, pools, that will exclude any current on banner unit, probably.
Right, that cuts you off at Kaito.
Here,
yeah.
So, right. So I mean, unless you're planning on running someone like that in Shard Dungeon right now, which a lot of people are, admittedly, I'm not, but I would have loved to have tried to pull for Tidus today and put him in the Shard Dungeon, but I won't, and I won't get a Shard compensation for that. And I mean, and that's a pretty individualized issue, but they could feasibly, if they wanted to account for the Shard Dungeon specifically, do something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, like an extra 5 shards for the banner units or something. I mean, that way they wouldn't have to repeat whatever people are using in the Shard Dungeon. It would be less maintenance on their end. Just like a basic, like, here's an extra 5 shards for this unit on the banner.
Yeah.
That'd be pretty sweet.
And I mean, honestly, I don't even, as somebody who is affected by this Facebook outage situation, I don't even care if the entire player base benefits from it, because honestly, I think that's good for the game in general. It makes more people excited to pull for something, regardless of what it is. I think it's just the point of that there is adequate compensation to make up for 36 hours that a good chunk of the player base has not been able to access.
Yeah.
Yes.
Just giving everybody the like relatively equal playing experience, you know, access to be able to get what they could have gotten and things like that, I think is more than sufficient. You know, some people I've even seen are looking at this as a nice 36-hour break. So,
Sure.
and for some of them, you know, they're getting their own reward of free time. So, I don't
Right.
know. But what the last thing we just wanted to touch on is that what I'm going to do when we get this posted is just kind of leave this as a featured post in the Facebook group. So when we get some official news, we're going to update that featured post with, you know, whatever the official update is. So definitely keep an eye out there. Or if you're watching this on YouTube and want to flag it, drop a comment there just to kind of like have get a notification when something updates, because I'll update that post as well. And just gonna keep an eye out for official stuff. You know, don't look for things that are like unofficial sources telling you to change this, change that, and you can get back into the game right now. Like, look for official stuff from FFBE. Check their Facebook page or their Twitter or wherever you like to follow them, but look for it there.
That's exactly what I was gonna say. There's been some stuff going around recently in a couple of the other groups on Facebook that if you just delete your app permissions from Facebook for FFBE, that you can then renew your token and get in immediately. Even if that is the case, until we hear it from Facebook themselves or the official FFB team,
Yeah.
that's not a chance I'm willing to take.
Not me.
6 years into a game.
Right. I mean, that could potentially delete all your progress and your account. You don't want to take that chance unless they're saying, "Oh yeah, it's gonna work."
Yeah.
So just hold off. I mean, we're in it with you, and I'm sorry, Kupo. I'm sorry, but yeah, you're not alone, and we'll keep you updated. I promise.
Yep. If the three of us are impacted, you know, we care, and we care about how you guys are feeling. You know, reach out to us. You know, we'll talk to you a little bit. We'll give you a little free space to vent. But like I said, just keep an eye out for some official news and some official updates, because we will post those in the Facebook group as soon as we have them. And then we look forward to seeing you guys all in the game very soon, we hope.
Yeah, and you guys, it's pitchforks and torches are great when they're necessary and deserved. This time, I mean, if history is anything to go by, they communicate better than this when it's something that is easily controlled.
Mm-hmm.
So as much as it sucks, and I'm gonna lose a 6-year login streak for this, just keep going. You'll be alright.
I bet you they'll freeze the login day progress. I
hope so.
bet you they'll keep it going.
That'd be pretty nifty.
Yep. All right. Well, thanks you guys for tuning in and being a part of our group, and we will see you in whatever next video is. Hopefully, hopefully being able to show some live footage of the game. So take care, be good to each other, take care of yourselves, and get some rest. All right.
Thank you.
Take care, guys.
Bye.